currently on the phone with Brea Lawerenson. She's another musician that reached out about the current interview session. So I'm going to go ahead and give her the chance to introduce herself.
Hey, thank you for having me. First of all, this is so cool. I am a Billboard charter singer-songwriter, Billboard charting singer-songwriter, you could say. I think that's what my bio says, at least. My name is Brea Lawerenson, and yeah, I love all kinds of music, but I'm a country recording artist from Canada, and just released a new single.
All right, sounds good. Well, we will definitely talk about that. Before we get there, though, these interviews are targeted at figuring out how somebody got into music, what the personality type was, what the environment was. So give me some detail about when you first encountered music. What about it kind of spoke into you and made you realize that you wanted to participate in it?
That's always an awesome question because, yeah, it just brings me right back to my childhood. And I was about 8 years old, maybe younger, because I would watch my dad play the piano, and he could play like by ear, but because he wasn't trained, but he could play anything that he heard. He'd just sit down and play it. And seeing him do that when I was a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, like he's making magic with his hands. Like, and how does he do that? I want to do that. And so that was kind of the start of the whole crazy journey.
Okay, so give me some more detail about that. You say making magic with his hands. Do you mean particularly playing a specific instrument or recording? And I mean, that's kind of an obvious question. Obviously, you mean playing an instrument, but I just want you to go into a little more detail about how you interpreted that.
Sorry, yes. So he would sit down at the piano, and he also played the guitar. And he would just like, I remember being a kid and loving just having an intensity to songs. Like I would remember lyrics, I would remember poems. And I remember just thinking, okay, well, like he can hear a song that he's never heard before. Cause I would show him songs that I loved, and because they were new, like songs, he had never heard them before. And he would be like, okay, listen to it once, and then he sat down on the piano and just start playing it. So that was like a superpower to me. I was like, how? you know?
Okay, and do you think that in that early environment, it was the piano that drew you in more or the guitar?
You know what? It was the piano that drew me in. And it wasn't until like years later when I was like in my teens that I picked up the guitar.
Okay. So tell me about that process of beginning to learn piano once you kind of made the decision that that is what you wanted to do. Did you do private lessons, or did you have him just kind of show you the ropes, or did you do tabs?
Yeah, so that was the hard part. But like my dad didn't know how to teach at all. So he didn't even know what he was playing. He was just learning by ear. So I started lessons. I asked for piano lessons when I was about 8. And I took them from the lady down the street, and she taught me how to play. And, I got to the point where, I don't know, I think I was maybe in grade 3 or something with it. And I just wanted to sing. I was playing and singing, but I really just wanted to sing. And then I started writing songs and stuff. And that's kind of how it all started. And I would learn. And I would always say that my ear and the fact that I can just kind of sing what I hear, play what I hear, has been a bit of a crutch for me because I didn't learn proper theory, you know?
So that's a great segue to kind of move into the songwriting portion of this. So tell me about once you kind of built up the skill level playing the piano and kind of got comfortable with how to play it. What do you think the motivation was for you to make that next leap into writing your own material?
I always kind of had this like book, a lyric, like just a normal notebook that I would write in. And even sometimes I would like write cool lyrics like on my wall in like the middle of the night. And just my my mind was always thinking about what I could write about and what I could make into a poem or a song. And I remember the first song that I wrote, I used it as an outlet for sure. I was going through a lot when I look back at those days, just a young girl. I was about 12, and I wrote a song it was my first song ever. It was called There's a Cloud in the Sky. And I remember writing it about, it was like a symbolization. There's a cloud in the sky and, it's just there. And like, is it good or bad? Like whatever I was going through, I was sort of making those little like symbolizations. I don't know if it'll go. I don't know if it'll like stay, but it's there. And it was almost like me using my words to like help me get through whatever I was going through at that time.
So I assume at some point, you kind of started building up a repertoire of songs that you had written. Did you start to look at getting them recorded and then working with other musicians, or did you always kind of see yourself as the solo singer-songwriter type?
Yeah, I was really lucky because, I have a mom that's like so she's like the backbone for me in my career. And we did some pretty cool, like right when I was about 12, I started performing and she would drive me all across the valley every weekend. I would say that like I didn't really get the chance to have like a normal school, like childhood, I don't know, with friends and stuff, because I was always singing on the weekends or even going to singing lessons or with a young talent. I was very young, and I was with a talent agency that would like say, okay, you're singing here and like on this night and this night. And then my mom and I would just drive there and go for it. And it was like, just a crazy influential time of my life. I knew that I wanted to do this, and I, wanted to be a singer-songwriter. And I was very lucky because I was with a talent agency who got me going and introduced me to my first producer from Ottawa. And it was basically my first and only record deal at that time. And I was 15. And I came to him through a friend that had brought me up performing. He had a talent agency, and he was referred to as the singing policeman, Dominic Darcy, and he taught me how to be professional. He taught me how to talk to people after I sang. Like I was maybe 15, and younger in those days. And he had a recording producer. He introduced him to me, or me to him, and then we just started writing music together. So my producer then helped me write a full album. I wasn't really playing instruments at that point. I was just more focusing on songwriting and my singing and trying to find the type of artist that I wanted to be. And I mean, I was with them and that company from 15 to like 19, and we did amazing things. I got to perform at the Juno Showcase. We went to the UK, and I got to write and record with Stuart Epps, who is one of the producers of Elton John back in the 70s. We did my first music video. It was like $35,000 music video back then. And, now you can do music videos for $1 app. So it's like, it's been a long journey. But yeah, I was really lucky from a young age with, it's been a lifelong journey.
It sounds like you were kind of, pulled into the whole industry dynamic of it at a very young age and kind of grew up around it. That's very cool.
Exactly. And I think that's the reason why I'm continuing on with it, because I have no idea what to do else.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of puts us into the perfect moment to ask the question of where you are now. What are you doing, and kind of where do you see yourself going in 5 or 10 years?
Right. That's awesome. I am. I had a really cool, the best show I ever had. last summer. I got to open for Shania Twain. And then my social media kind of just really started building, and I'm getting a much bigger following through all different platforms. And I'm really working on that, like the online portion of it, and marketing and building my followers and my platforms. And I go to Nashville every year and record about 4 or 5 new songs. And then I come back home to Canada and I spend the whole year releasing those songs. And if I'm lucky, which I'm grateful, I've been very lucky to have my songs played on Sirius XM channel 171, top of the country. And with the spins that they give me, I'm able to invest back into my music because of the royalties. And, I keep a lot of my songs. Like, I've written with a lot of different artists, but I like to own my own music, obviously, and write all my songs so that I can get, all those royalties so that I can invest right back into what I'm doing. And so my goal is just like to make money at something that I love doing,
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And so do you think that'll kind of be your regular routine? You'll fly down, record a few songs, and then kind of keep up your social media presence, and then play a few shows here and there?
Yeah, I think that it'll, there's so many avenues now to make money and online. And we're doing a podcast like this one, and it's called The Distillery. Me and my husband are hosting it. Like, there's so much you can do, and the internet is just, wide open. I know. Yeah. So it's just using social media, and then, getting to travel to Nashville and hopefully other places. Maybe I'll get more opening spots for like bigger artists,
Awesome. So tell me a couple of your favorite memories that you have that really kind of have motivated you to continue on this life path and to keep making music.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I have had audiences of 10,000 to 20,000 people singing back my lyrics to me. And I think that was a huge part of why I kept going with it. There's one song in particular that, got some great support here in Canada at Canadian radio. And when I started playing festivals for those kind of crowds, I would see these people go crazy about this song that I wrote, and then they would literally sing it back to me. And I think that's the highest compliment you could get as a songwriter. And then now that I'm online so much, having this community of people that I've never met in real life, and they'll believe in me more than, some of my family members do. And you create these connections with people from across the world. Like, there's a truck driver. His name is Trucker Dwayne from Alabama. And because I met him through TikTok, him and his wife love my music. They would have never known about me through any other way, and he's a truck driver. He drives all over the States. He's got 780 trailers with my bumper sticker on them. So yeah, he's just like driving all over and putting, dropping off trailers and picking up new ones and putting my bumper sticker on them. And then he's posting on TikTok few of his videos have gotten like 1 million views. So I guess the moral and the important part of it is like the connection that you make with people, and how it can change your life and theirs.
All right. Well, where can people find all your music and your videos and your podcast?
Yeah. Please check out BreaLawerenson.com, BreaLaWrenson, and you can get all of my links right there. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. Well, all my music is basically wherever you stream. You just ask Google or Alexa.
Awesome. All right. Well, I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So what's a message that you have that you want to share with people?
I think the biggest message I have is just to be authentically you and to not listen to any of the naysayers and people out there that think that you should be doing certain things with your life a certain way. Just I've always had the best success just by being true to myself and doing whatever the hell I wanted to do. And yeah, that's what I say, and I hope that you can find some resignation in that.